I think now I haven't followed it as closely as I should, but it's a continuation of what happened back then. Of course, the U.S. is increasing its support for the regime in Kiev, and there's all this business between Biden uh, and Kiev that the Republicans, Trump was trying to take advantage of. But there is this very tight relationship between the neoliberals uh, associated with Biden and the regime you have in Ukraine. And again, there's a lot of talk about integrating Ukraine into NATO and the like. And I think the U.S. is trying to rev up its contention with all of these sovereign independent states, Russia, China, Iran, etc. It's like a last-ditch attempt to maintain their hegemonic control over the world. They really see the writing on the wall. As I like to say, it's in Chinese characters. So I think they're really trying to, push the envelope somewhat in their contention with these forces, their adversarial forces. And Russia and China are pushing back, as they rightfully should. They're not going to be walked over any longer. China's illustrated that they're not going to take any more gruff from the U.S. in Hong Kong, Taiwan, Xinjiang. And I think the Iranians certainly have shown that they're not willing to be bullied. And I think what the Russians are doing is they're pushing back, as they should. And they're saying, look, we're going to press our demands. We're going to look after our own interests and the interests of the Russian-speaking population of Ukraine. Ukraine, if you know a little bit about its history and its demographics, it's really two countries in one.
Mm-hmm.
You have the western portion of Ukraine, which was affiliated with the Nazis.
Yeah, Nazis.
Really fascistic. And they're like they're more in the European tradition. Austria-Hungary had control of that area, and they're Catholic. Yep. They speak Ukrainian, which is sister language to Russian.
Yep.
And on the east, you have the Russian-speaking population that was part of the Russian Empire, and then they kind of got combined into what we now call Ukraine, which was never an independent country to begin with. It was part of Austria-Hungary, part of Poland, part of Russia, and it was with the founding of the Soviet Union that Ukraine, as we see it now, basically coalesced. Khrushchev, you might not know, came from Ukraine. He was a Ukrainian. Just like Stalin was a Georgian.
That's right.
They were not Russian nationals. They were, Georgian and Ukrainian. Basically, Khrushchev gifted the Crimea, which was part of Russia proper, to Ukraine as a gift.
Without the Politburo's approval.
That could be. You got me on that one, but that I'm sure. I think you're. Yeah, I do recall that now. So most people in the West, they have no knowledge, and they could care less, about this history. So it's something that the Russians are very sensitive about. Particularly the Russian population in the Donbass region to the east. And the U.S. in particular is trying to use Ukraine. The Ukraine is the underbelly, the soft underbelly of Russia. So it's like a spear directed right at the heart of Russia. And to have a NATO occupying that space and the U.S. Being right there is a really existential threat to the Russian Federation. It would be as if, say New Mexico and Arizona were occupied by Russian sympathizers and had an alliance with Russia, right under our nose, so to speak. It's the same position that Tibet plays with China. It's the soft underbelly. You just can't, in this day and age, you can't have a foreign and adversarial foreign power occupying that space. So the Russians are not going to allow that to happen. If Ukraine is recruited into NATO, I'm afraid there's going to be actually war. I wouldn't be surprised because I don't see how the Russians could ever accept that. They've been very patient in allowing NATO to be in the Baltic state and right on its border, on its western border. Basically, NATO is the continuation of the Third Reich. And it's as if Germany, which is the preeminent power in Europe, of course, it's still subservient to the U.S., but it tries to seek an independent path. But nonetheless, it's really as if the Third Reich was resurrected, and and it's really a pity. Given the sacrifices that the Soviet Union made in defeating it, that it's had this sort of second lease on life, which of course you have to blame on Gorbachev, who's really the bête noire of the anti-imperialist movement. He gave up the ghost, and look at what we got. So that's kind of how I see it.